Hey, welcome to ConCarolinas. It's a fine Thursday evening, and we have a ton of special guests. But first, let me get our co-host to tell us who she is. That's you,
Me?
beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful.
So I'm Ray. I'm the co-host of this circus, and our amazing guests here today are bringing something a little bit different to CCTV. We've got lots in store for you guys. Hopefully, you're ready for some spooky ghost stories because that's where we're headed this episode. So, without further ado, let's start with the lovely lady. Go ahead and tell us who you are.
I'm Sherilyn Lambeth. I am a semi-professional paranormal investigator with the Charlotte Area Paranormal Society. I also lead the Haunted History Ghost Walks at the local house museum here in Charlotte, Historic Rosedale, and I'm the author of Haunted Theaters of the Carolinas. I've recently been expanding my work on cryptids to talk about Bigfoot, Loch Ness monsters like that.
We got some people.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was, but it's like.
Yeah, we're setting the tone. All right, let's move on to that guy with the fluffy red beard. Who are you?
Hello, I am Great Big Bear. I am a member of the BSBN. I'm also a low-key paranormal enthusiast. I've done a few ghost hunts myself, and yeah,
Lots of good
that is
stuff.
who I am.
And our brand new guest, never before on CCTV. Blessed to have you here. Tell us about you and yourself.
Myself, my name is Mark. It's good to meet all of you. And the ones I've met before, it's good to sit across the table from you currently right now. I do theater work at the two local theaters. For one, I am a stage manager and a director, but I will act wherever you need me. I'll dress up like a character from a show or a princess. I can be Anna or Elsa. I'd like to believe I have the eyes and the legs for it. And I can't wait to talk about ghosts. Let's do this thing. This is the Final Fantasy episode, right? Let's talk about the raid.
Magic the Gathering, here we come. All right, well, I'm Bronner, just to round it all out, and I am afraid of ghosts and all things scary. And I hide under the bed, and she is my protector against all things paranormal and supernatural. So it freaks me out completely, but I am so like, oh, I need it so bad in my life. I just, it's like fills this wonderful void. But anyway, I'm going to let Ray take the reins for this episode because she is obviously the brave one.
Well, not just that. This is something that I've been kind of pushing for. Just because of all of the experiences that I have. And I don't know why. Oh, feedback. No?
Oh, I think we're good.
I think we're good. I think there's something spooky messing with stuff. But I've never actually taken it like further and tried investigating or tried to get, proof of anything. It's always just been from the time I can remember something that's a presence for me. No matter where I'm at, no matter what house, who I'm around, it's just always been there. So I'm curious from our guests, what is your first experience? Like, what is the first thing you can remember?
The
that
catalyst.
like, there's something here. Barry, you got a look on your face. Let's start with you. Let's start.
At a very young age, I've always had like that feeling someone was there, that, that imaginary friend that may not have actually been an imaginary friend. And I've always had just a big fascination of it, but it probably started pretty young that I always see things just out of the corner of my eye as it dashed away, and
There's just always something there. Yeah.
That's always a thing, though.
Hey,
the corner of the eye thing. Isn't that a thing?
It is.
Like,
yeah.
Has it happened to everybody across the board? Like the corner of the eye thing?
I think that's the most prominent as far as, experiences, is that something in the corner of your vision is something that most people can identify with.
They have a whole episode of Doctor Who about that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
actually a
then we
creature
know
that
it's
hides
gospel.
right here.
April's in the chat. She knows all that Doctor Who stuff.
Hi, April. Hi, Kagome. Hi, everybody in the chat. All
All right.
right.
I'm a huge Doctor Who fan myself, so yes,
Yeah,
It's common
it
theme.
is.
it is.
What about
It's
you,
like
Yeah.
all
Cheryl?
nerds like the same things. Go figure.
No,
right, Cheryl, what
get
about you?
out.
I know you have a lot of
My
experience.
my background too is in theater, and every single theater you will ever work in or go into or be in has a ghost or ghost story. And there's and my theory on that is, I mean, of course, theaters, there's a lot of energy there. There's a lot of emotional energy there. The same actions get repeated over and over and over again. And, sometimes accidents happen in theaters and unfortunately things like that happen. But theater people are very superstitious. It's a superstitious world. But certainly, I've always loved a good ghost story. As a kid, I loved campfire ghost stories. I always thought they were fascinating. And I think the thing that really started my interest in paranormal was one summer when I was working as a costume crew person on the Lost Colony outdoor drama. Are you all familiar with the Lost Colony? It was the first British colony
Oh, no.
established in North America. Yep, everybody disappeared, and in 1585,
Oh, yes.
yeah. And the theater is built. There's a theater about it. There's a play about it, and the theater is built on the actual site of the colony, which we thought that was a good idea. But
Ooh.
it's very haunted, and
That
there,
sounds good.
yes. Well, and I still get goosebumps talking about it. But there was one night after the show where I was sorting laundry in the hallway. It was late at night. The floors were wooden, so you could hear people coming up, and I heard footsteps coming up behind me. Pulled my basket aside to continue working. The footsteps continued down the hall with no one there, and the door at the end of the hall opened and closed by itself.
Ooh.
And I remember sitting there for 3 or 4 seconds going,
All right,
okay.
yeah.
That just happened.
Picked up my basket.
Mhm.
Yeah, moved into the shop, and the clincher of that was one of my coworkers said, "Are you all right? You look like you've seen a ghost."
Now
I've
that you
been in
mention
New
it.
York, bro. I'd have been gone.
But yeah, that started my interest in, okay, every theater has a ghost or ghost story, and that's what prompted me to eventually write my book about haunted theaters.
Ooh.
Does everybody have headphones?
All right,
Okay.
that's okay now.
Man, it's like weird.
I don't know what it is.
It's like two mics are
it
getting
really
too
is
close
like
together.
the shrieking sound from Psycho.
Somebody's not happy.
Somebody is not happy.
Okay. We would piss somebody off.
Preach.
All right, Mark. What's your first experience?
The catalyst. Well, I remember being 3, 4 years old, and my family lived in this house in High Point, Penny Road. And they would always show me pictures, and they'd be like, "Oh, look, there's a smoke figure here. There's a shadow figure here." I don't remember all that vividly because I was a little kid. I just remember them showing me the pictures. They have a lot of stories about the house. The one thing that really set it off was when the house burnt down. My brother, there's 4 of us boys. We all slept in the same bedroom. He woke us all up, and said the house is on fire. Months later, and he still tells this story to this day, he says that he was woken up by this old lady, and she said, "You got to get out. You're in danger." And all of a sudden, he saw some flaming skull on the wall, and then he woke us all up, and then we all smelled the smoke and got out.
Huh.
And he tells that story the exact same way to this day. So I believe him. And that's how we all got out of the house, because the whole bottom floor was on fire, and we were on the second floor.
Whoa.
So that kind of started it for me.
Wow.
That's huge.
Gave me all sorts of goosebumps there. Dang. That's a
Right.
good
That
one.
was the beginning.
That's not just activity, but that's interaction.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's major.
So my beginning pales in comparison to Mr. Mark's dramatic, introduction to the paranormal. But I was about, I don't know, how old are you in 5th grade? Whatever age you're at, I was in 5th grade, and I'm overnight party at my friend's house, who lived in the same condominium complex as I did, and we were playing D&D, and this was like a weekend, like 3 straight days of D&D, all day, all night or whatever. We sleep during the day, play at night, right? Well, he had these giant vaulted ceilings, and he had bookcases all the way up to the top of these ceilings in this condominium. And on both nights, Friday and Saturday night, while we were playing, I kid you not, that books started coming off the shelves, but not like, oh, like that shelf tipped and fell over. It was like one from the third shelf from the top, one from the top shelf, one from the fifth shelf from the top.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was crazy, and it was just like this, and we all looked at each other. We all ran out to his patio, and we sat out there for like an hour just talking about what happened. Went back in, and the same thing happened the next night. Exactly the same thing.
Collecting yourself.
It was crazy. And so I've always been afraid, and I was especially afraid, and I made it had a little bit of tinkle, as I was running outside. but I mean, coming from a 300-pound, 54-year-old man, I was scared, bro. I mean, I left, but I went back in. I put my bootstraps back on, and I went back in, and I don't think I went back to his house after that second night, though.
You're like, we're gonna finish this, but I'm done.
Right?
So mine's similar to Bear. Just from the time I can remember, there's always been something. My mom has stories, my dad has stories, but we lived in Arizona for a few years, and my youngest brother was born, and he's 11 years younger than me. So he's probably a couple months old, and there was a music box in his bedroom. And the music box, anytime my parents would be fighting or if my brother was fussy, that music box would go off and it would play "You Are My Sunshine," which just so happened to be my grandmother's song. And she had just passed about a year and a half before. So, I mean, it was like clockwork. If Michael started getting fussy in the crib, the music box would go off. If my parents were fighting, it would go off. And it just happened time and time again. So my dad, being the skeptic that he was laying in bed one night, and he just threw out there, "You know what? I'm not impressed. You're going to have to do something different." So my parents' waterbed had a lamp on the headboard. It had one of those headboards built in, shelf and everything.
Everyone had one in the 70s.
Yeah.
I can attest.
But this lamp was one of those touch lamps where you had to touch it and it would go low, medium, high, off. So as soon as he said that, it started going low, medium, high, off, low, medium, high, off. And he freaked out, got out of bed, ran down the hallway, and I'm like, what? I'm 11. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. But that freaked him out. I was always comforted. I never got a scary from it. But it was, didn't like him, that's for sure. No.
Okay, that's it.
Challenged
That's
it.
it.
Dang, yeah.
All right, bye guys. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
No, I have tons. I'm sure we all do. I'm sure we all. But so my experiences, except for one, have all been very nonchalant, very benign. Other than, I think, books falling off the wall. That's pretty, I would say that's not good.
I mean, they weren't hurled at my head or anything, but they were just they were almost cascading off of the bookshelf, if you will, which was just the randomness of the way they were coming down was just enough to freak me out. So, yeah.
But does anybody have malicious stories? Anything malicious?
Are you allowed? Wait, can I stop right there? Are you allowed to talk about that stuff, or are you just inviting it? I mean,
No, you're good. You're good.
Just don't play with a Ouija board.
Okay.
Yes, do not play with a Ouija board.
You know,
Okay. So
Well,
we're
I
safe?
would like to
No.
say that I am the skeptic when it comes to Ouija boards. To me, that's just a block of wood you bought at Walmart. I don't think Ouija boards are real, and we can put that on a statement.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you have to say it in my house?
I'm gonna say it in your house and then leave.
Drop that bomb, and he's gone.
we
Just
recommend
gonna leave
do
this
not
right there.
play with Ouija boards. Yes, they're based on an actual historic communicating with method of communicating with the dead. And so, yeah, people play with them. They open up all sorts of things they aren't prepared for. So, yeah, we recommend not to mess with those. I won't.
There is a safe way to do it, but it's very involved, and just don't. You're just better off not doing it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things you don't want to. But Sean says that he bets Mark says Beetlejuice 3 times too.
He's a Bloody Mary, that's for sure.
Well, I'm not dumb.
I mean, I'd say Beetlejuice.
I'm not going to say
too.
it 3 times.
I would. It's Michael Keaton. Give me some
Oh,
Beetlejuice.
wow.
I mean,
Give
yeah.
me some Beetlejuice.
I think I'd look good with a little shrunken head action going on.
Michael Keaton makes a great Batman too.
Great Batman.
But so, anybody have a negative?
Yeah, like
Sorry.
who's had some bad experiences? I'll plug my ears.
I'll cuddle you.
Personally have not, but the leader of our team, CAPS, Charlie Area Paranormal Society, Tina McSwain, has had some experiences where things have pushed her, have tried to throw her against a wall, have slammed doors in her face. So, it's there have been a lot of documented experiences of strong entities, physically manifesting. And so it can happen. Luckily, I personally have not experienced anything like that, but I know it can and does happen.
Yeah. Especially the more you dive into it.
Yeah, nothing negatives personally happened to me, but my mom's boyfriend one time got punched in the nose in the kitchen, and he walked out with blood coming out of his nose and was like, I was in there by myself.
Oh, geez.
So,
Did he do anything, or did he just walk in the kitchen and it happened?
well, he was a jerk. So,
So he had it coming.
anybody could have been trying to mess with him, but no, he was in the kitchen. And then all of a sudden he said, ow, and walked out, and he was like, something hit me. So,
He probably
we weren't too
deserved it.
upset.
Yeah.
I would be like, yeah, it goes.
All of a sudden, they're not that bad.
Yeah. So I guess that wasn't a negative experience.
But
You
what
know,
about
to go with the theory that ghosts or spirits are people who have passed over, then the way they were in life is probably the way they're going to be in death. And so if somebody was a jerk in life, they're probably going to be a jerk in death. And so, if you're going to go in and harass them or annoy them, they're probably not going to be very happy about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say less inhibitions. So, yeah.
don't I recall one time where you had scratches on you or something?
It's actually the only time that I have felt apprehensive about anything. Most are very benign, just very simple things. And because I've dealt with it for so long, I just kind of brush it off. And I don't even recognize it most of the time. But there was an instance where we're living in a little house and there were marks in like this glass part of the back screen door, and they looked like 3 scratch marks, but it was condensation. So it was like you run your finger through the condensation.
Okay, yeah.
So what was it, like 4 days, 3-4 days after that, I would wake up and I had scratches, 3 scratches down my back.
Same.
And
3
I
scratches.
mean, I asked him, like, did you scratch me? Like, were you trying to scratch my back? No. I'm like, okay, well, let me, can I couldn't get my arm into the position like that would have been feasible. And it was just one of those things that for whatever reason, I didn't feel comfortable. It was a totally different vibe from everything else that I had experienced. But then it was nothing. Nothing ever came of it.
That's not true. Okay.
No?
Well, first and foremost, I wouldn't scratch you because I just wouldn't want Trey's DNA under my fingernails or anything. But Then we also found those 3 same scratch marks on our bed.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Didn't even remember that, did you?
I didn't.
Why do you think I sleep in my closet?
That's the
But
creepiest part.
it was like in the blanket. Yeah, it was weird. But past that, there was nothing else.
But there's
right?
a thing on 3s, right? Because I mean, we get a lot of the knowledge that I have about it, even though I'm an avid reader, is from the crap that you see on TV. And a lot of it is crap, but a lot of it, and that's okay, but let's be honest, okay? There's some basis for a lot of what they do, but they also,
It's
you
sensationalized.
know, they sensationalize it, exactly. They try to make it a lot different, like, oh, like that
Oh yeah.
Aaron from the Ghost Hunter Bunch guy. He's like,
That's the worst show.
What was that?
But there's some stuff in there that go, oh wait, I heard that. You know? It at least it's giving me nightmares. I mean, it's working some way.
Well, as a friend of mine explained it, it's like cops. You get the best 30 minutes of what might have been a 2-week investigation. And so, they have to make it look good. And as you said, you're right, it's sensationalized for TV. But there is a grain of truth in a lot of that. And it's interesting to note how the TV shows have made the paranormal a little more mainstream and acceptable, much more than it used to be.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. I mean, it's big money. I mean, those shows make huge money. Plus, everybody's always looking for a good scare, whether it's like a haunted house or a scary movie. Or I mean, everybody wants to be a little bit afraid. I love being afraid.
Sean. Very frisky.
What?
Sean said it was a frisky ghost scratching me up.
Oh yeah, it was frisky.
It was
So
frisky.
I had one like aggressive thing towards me. It was on a paranormal hunt. We were at a high school theater. We were down in the basement where all the changing rooms and everything, where makeup and all that was.
The green room.
And we had broken up, so we had teams of 2 spread out all over this theater. And at one point, I felt something cold touch my right arm. So we stopped where we were at. We started, trying to ask questions, stuff like that. And I felt a hotness across my lower back. And I didn't think anything of it. The cold went away. We couldn't get anything. We went back up. We told the lead guy about it. And he's like, let me see your back. And I lifted up the back of my shirt. And sure enough, like you said, 3 marks across like the lower part of my back.
And that's kind of what I was trying to illustrate when I was talking about the TV shows. They say a lot that scratches and like all those things come in 3s because that's like whatever the devil's number. I don't know what it is, but it always seems to happen like in like marks of 3, right? I mean, is that just me?
No.
So the Hebrewic 6 is actually, it looks like a scratch mark basically. So 666 is actually looks like 3 scratch marks.
Almost like the monster can. If you
that's
pretty much
777 though.
There's actually a documentary on how Monster is supposed to be demonic, but that's
there is
a whole different show.
That's it. That's not a show here ever.
So you want to know how to summon a demon in your house?
Get lots of monster.
No, it doesn't work because
bring me a case right now.
Like I have monster running through my veins.
Yeah,
It doesn't do anything.
She's not a demon.
That you know of.
Yeah, I mean, I've checked. I mean, I've done a thorough exam.
How do you check?
I have no idea. Cher, how do I check if someone's a demon or not?
Well, I'll have to admit, demonology is not my thing. But apparently there are ways that you can find out about demons. They don't like the smell of the smell of sulfur. There you go. That's usually a good indication.
It doesn't smell like rotten eggs, so we're safe, right?
Throw salt at her.
Salt. Yeah, that's right,
Salt.
Bates. Hi,
Yes.
Bates.
Hi, Bates.
I've watched
Hey, Bates.
Supernatural. I learned a
I
few
love, I
things.
love Supernatural.
Mhm.
That's a great show.
It is
It
a
is.
great show.
It is.
Scary
So,
show.
I think all three of our guests have investigators. No, Mark, you don't have investigator experience, right?
I do.
Okay,
Actually.
Oh,
that's what I thought. So tell us, like, when did you start that? How'd you get into it?
So when I first started doing theater was 2015. And one of the first things they told me was that the theater was very haunted.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked the artistic director, the executive director, the one who runs the theater, if I could stay overnight with a camera and flashlight and things like that. And of course, he said, no.
Of course.
So I didn't get to.
of course not.
But I said that around as a good group of people, and they were like, well, that's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
We know some people. So there was like some ladies here and there that were like, oh yeah, you know, here at my house, there's creepy stuff that happens if y'all want to stay from like 1 to 5 or something, and then we would. And I'm not a famous millionaire, so we didn't catch a whole lot, but it was still creepy. It's the things you
It's the
can't
feeling.
catch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're just like, oh, I heard something. Maybe y'all didn't hear that on camera. It's like, oh, well, now it doesn't even sound believable. But I promise I heard something.
Right.
Doesn't make you a whole lot of money. But that's what would happen a lot. It's the stuff we would feel that you couldn't show on camera. So
Yeah.
that's how that goes.
That feeling on the back of your
Mhm.
neck. You know, when something brushes by you. Yeah.
Right.
I
You
mean, I
can't
would
catch
totally
that.
do it. I would totally go on a ghost hunt. I would totally get locked down somewhere.
You would just be glued to my
I
side.
would be absolutely 100%. And I mean, yeah. I mean, I'd have like the garlic and the holy water. I mean,
That's
I would,
vampires thing.
well, whatever. I would.
Garlic's
I
not
would
gonna do
cover.
anything against ghosts.
I would cover all of my bases.
You're just
I
gonna
kid you
smell
not.
enticing.
I smell like a taco.
salt.
Yeah. And I'm gonna bring cilantro and sour cream.
You're starting to sound like a taco.
Oh,
All right. So
Fair.
when's the last time you went ghost hunting? Anybody? And how come I didn't go?
Ooh,
You know what? If I may, I'll throw this out there. The Historic House Museum that I work for here in town is I work with Historic Rosedale. We do a paranormal investigation with the Charlotte Area Paranormal Society 3 times a year. We just did one in June. We have another one coming up in October. And if you both would like to come, actually, if all of you would like to come as my guests, you would be welcome.
Oh my gosh!
I would love to go.
I would love
That
to
would be
go.
my
I
first.
live in
yeah,
Oklahoma.
you
Otherwise, I would totally come.
Touch base afterwards and I'll make sure you have the information, but you are welcome to come as my guests.
Oh yeah!
And then we're gonna have to recap.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Definitely gonna have to recap.
You can get some-
GoPro body cam. Like we're gonna have to do another episode here.
Rosedale is extremely haunted. It's one of the most haunted places in Charlotte. I have gotten some great EVP there. We have gotten some great pictures there. But all of our ghosts are good. We've never had anything bad happen there, and it's a great place to investigate, and it's got some amazing history.
Nice.
Oh, that's gonna be so awesome.
That is nice.
Oh, that's it. Episode's done. Bye guys. Bye, guys.
She's got to
I
go
just-
prepare now.
Right.
It's very weird
Is it
that
October?
I've never gotten
In
into
October, yes.
it. How to put that? Because of everything that's happened, like I can't remember a time in my life where there wasn't activity. You know, there's been doorbells going off, and I have a direct line of sight to the door. There's cabinets and doors and, you know, sounds. And there was a growl in the yard just the other night. And I had gone out for a cigarette, come back in, and I'm like, there was a growl out there. And he was like, what? I was like, it wasn't like a dog. I was like, it sounded like a mountain lion.
Ooh.
And he's like, babe, we don't live in California anymore. We don't have mountain lions. I was like, I don't know. He was like, was it a bear? I'm like, honey, there's no bear. But it was like a guttural just growl. So it's weird that I've never, as sensitive as I am to everything, that I've never done the investigation thing. So it's going to be fun.
Well, you're welcome to come. And I will say, in terms of growl, we do have several versions of our own Bigfoot here in North Carolina. So you never know. Yeah.
Maybe. That's a good question, though. So all of us here have our experiences. Is it just paranormal, or does that leave your mind open to other things, like
Aliens.
I believe
aliens
Okay.
are 100% real.
100%.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you cannot
I live
expect
with
out of
one.
every planet in the universe that we're the only ones with life. Like, come on, really?
Right.
We're
Just the
definitely
odds of
others
it.
out there.
I mean, if
Yeah.
we can
Like, they may not be
communicate
like us, but
beyond
they're
the
out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
But
and
My
I
true
I believe
belief
in
was
Loch Ness
that the
Monster.
Loch Ness Monster was a
yeah.
creature that has now died.
Yes.
I will say that I'm a skeptic. I mean, I'm a believer, but I'm also a skeptic. I look at things from a perspective of, I tend to think a lot of paranormal experiences are normal things in
They can
abnormal
be, yeah.
circumstances. Yeah, but there are a lot of paranormal things out there. And one project I'm working on too is I just created a map of all of North Carolina's cryptids, creatures, and North and South Carolina. And we have like a solid 15 cryptids in both states, which is really interesting. So, there are some creatures out there, but then of course we have a lot of haunted places too, and a lot of, standard stories. So
Yeah.
there is definitely something out there.
I mean, there's a lot of history.
Literally.
There's quite a bit of history. So
Now,
with that,
Sean, I'm from Wyoming. That is the land of jackalopes. I'm legally required to believe in jackalopes. So, just saying.
and Sean,
Chupacabras.
Mhm.
chupacabra,
Yes.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we have one in North Carolina actually. So yep.
We have a chupacabra.
We do. Back in the 1960s, in the tiny little town of Bladenboro, just outside of Wilmington, they had it's called the Vampire Beast of Bladenboro. It's basically our own version of the chupacabra. It was apparently destroying livestock and pets, and they tried to hunt it down and never could find it. But there are newspaper articles and information out there about it if you want to do any more digging.
Oh, wow.
That's it, guys. I'm done. I got everything I needed.
Oh, but wait, there's more.
Oh
yeah.
But I do. I think that there's more than just us, and I think it's very egotistical for us to think that it is just us. Whether it's something paranormal, whether it's something that's in space, it is egotistical for us species to say, "Hey, you know what? We're the only thing out there." My dad actually had an experience, and he was a young child. My grandfather was in the Army, and he was stationed in New Mexico. My dad was like 7 to 10. And he's got 7 brothers and sisters. So they're sleeping on bunk beds. And he's on the top of the bunk bed. And the way he tells the story, or he told the story, is that he woke up, opened his eyes, and he's got his head on the pillow. Really, Christopher, you're so cute. You're kind of cute. In narrating my story.
He's so adorable.
That is cute, right? But he woke up, opens his eyes, and he's staring. Oh, that's so weird.
Isn't that a song?
That sounds like music, right?
I think he said I got a body like a backhoe.
That's my stripper song. Yeah. I bring it everywhere I go.
Anyway, so
he's sleeping, opens his eyes up, and he comes face to face with what he claimed for 40 years was the devil, or 30 years. He claims it was the devil. He stuck his tongue out. It stuck its tongue out at it. He rolled over and went back to sleep. So, however many years later, I was elementary school. I'm staying the night at my friend's house. My dad and my mom were watching a show on aliens, and they happened to show an image of what is typically known as the gray, with the gray head, the big black eyes. And according to my mom, my dad freaked out. He was like, "Jeannie, that's it. That's what it was." But from all these years later, he's like, "Oh my God, that's what it was." So, I mean, it was New Mexico.
Wow.
So
it was New
I'm just
Mexico.
saying.
Yeah.
But the freaky part is is that the exact same time they were watching that show, Rachel was at a friend's house
We were
watching the same
the
show.
exact same show.
What?
Oh wow.
And that's just, my life is full of these weird coincidence type things. It really is.
So I'd like to share, if it's okay, my first paranormal hunt because it's one of my favorite ones.
Absolutely.
So it was with my mom, and she arranged with her best friend a night tour of the Rollins prison. It was the old prison and everything. So we
Where's
got to go
that?
through there. Rollins, Wyoming.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got to go through there with a very select few people, and we had various equipment. We kind of rigged up a video camera with a flashlight. We duct taped it on there pretty good. We had audio recorders, like very amateur paranormal type stuff. Disposable cameras. We went through. We were taking lots of pictures. We found orbs and quite a few of them. The one picture, though, that really caught us in that was, mind you, disposable cameras. They give you 4x6. We got a panoramic picture out of these disposable cameras, and it was of a painting that was on a wall that an inmate had painted. On the opposite corner of it, from the reflection of the light, you can clearly, like not vaguely, clearly make out a face of a person, like mustache, eyebrows, like you can see the face very clearly in the light. When we got to the death row part, though, we had our first like actual like big thing happen. The guy that had the camera that we focus camera, geez, that we duct taped the flashlight to, mag light. It got hit so hard it broke the mag light in 3 pieces. It destroyed the guy's camera. Like it just, something hit the camera so hard, and he was the second person in, followed like right behind the tour guide. And it was just like instantly, as soon as you got in there, it was the most heavy feeling that we've ever had. It was absolutely
like a
crazy. But that
wave.
was like the first one. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like everybody instantly like went from, we're having fun to,
Not
whoa, wait a minute here. Like, but that was, I mean, that was the big thing that we had there, was the camera got hit by something pretty hard that it broke the mag light in 3 pieces. And
you don't break mag lights. That just doesn't happen.
Yeah, mag lights are like what you crack people over the head with, right? Those are mag lights.
That's a weapon with light on it.
It very much is a beater stick with a light.
I hope.
So yeah, that was like my very first paranormal investigation, and it's what fueled everything for me.
Oh yeah, you get an experience like that, and you're like, we're going in again.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Bronner wouldn't, but I would.
This is the kind of stuff I like. Okay, and it might be just like marshmallow fluff to most of you people, but yeah, but like I was in New York, Rachel was still back in California. We would be on Skype all the time. I would see stuff on her Skype camera, like in the corners and stuff, and she would see like shadows and stuff that we couldn't explain if we tried. And then we finally just started saying, yeah, it's just her dad. Like, it's her dad, because her dad has passed many, many years. And, kind of our relationship started out with like, yeah, my dad would not like you. So like this whole time, I'm looking at these little weird things that are happening between me and Ray, and I'm saying, this is her dad trying to keep us apart, and it's working. And it's working. Yeah, I'm gonna stay over here in New York. And then she followed me across the country. It was crazy.
She wasn't taking no for an answer.
Well,
I mean,
Yep.
it just, I've attached it to different things. You know, I've said like, oh, it's my dad or whatever the presence may be, just because it's always been something very comforting.
Mm.
It's to the point where like things will start happening and I'll randomly like kind of blurt out in the house of like, okay, I'm, enough. You know, it's one of those things.
but a lot of times it can be comforting too. You know, the
Mm.
who's coming to check on you, or yeah, even pets. I mean, there've been documented reports of pets coming back and
Mhm.
visiting. So it doesn't always have to be a scary experience. It can be a comforting experience.
Yeah, I need those ghosts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wait, that's the ones we have.
Give me a call if
You're
you're
not
one of those
comforted
ghosts.
though. But it's
I have a cat or something that lives in this apartment with me, and I'll see him all the time while I'm on a stream or something, because my kitchen is just right over here. I'll see him run across the kitchen out of the corner of my eye, and it's a little thing.
small,
Like,
brown, and low to the ground.
Yes,
Was
I
that
mean it's black
fantastic?
because it's a shadow, but but yes,
Yeah.
yes. So there's some sort of little cat or something similar to that
Critter.
that's in
Yeah.
this apartment
Gremlin.
here.
Gremlin.
No, I don't
Gremlins
think
are real,
gremlin,
bro.
but maybe could be.
Or a duende.
Gremlins are very real. Yes.
Sean, I see what you did. You're a genius. I'm blonde. So, Mark, what about you?
Oh, I'm not a gremlin or a cat. Sorry.
You're
No.
one.
He's a human, as far as we know.
It's me.
No, but have you had like, is it presences that have followed you from house to house? Is it?
Yeah, I didn't know if we were going to get to a real personal section where we kind of got to ramble for a bit. So I've kind of been sitting here.
Ramble.
But it's
Interjet.
my
Give me what
family
you
has
got.
a whole lot. Like my mom's like a witch who reads tarot cards in New Orleans. My sister has this crazy story that I will tell about this Asian family that lived in her bathroom, but they were ghosts. We have a whole bunch of stuff that happens. The girlfriend was hanging out at my
Mental
house.
illness Mostly. I mean,
Wait.
She was hanging out at my house, I'll say a week ago. And I live with my dad as well. So we thought he was in the living room watching TV. Because we were getting ready to go somewhere. We were opening up the door, hanging out in the bedroom like hoodlums. And we're like, oh, okay, maybe he's watching Criminal Minds or Game of Thrones. Because we heard this woman talking. Walked out the door, all the lights were out, TV was off, nothing. And that was the first time she had really witnessed something like that. So she was like, didn't you hear the TV? And I was like, yeah.
It's a thing. Like I've had to warn people. They're like, it's a thing. It happens.
Yes.
You're good. Wait, I need to know more about the Asian family though.
So if you would like to hear that story, donate $10. No, here we go. All right. So, I'll make it short and sweet. But like I said, there's 5 of us, 4 boys, 1 girl. She's the oldest. She got her own bedroom. This is when my family lived in Maryland. I've always lived with my dad in North Carolina. They lived with my mom. So that's the split. I would go see them over holidays and summer vacation. So this is when I was about 12. She was about 21. And she would say, there's an Asian family in my bathroom, which is just a weird thing to say. And it became kind of a comical story. And she would keep a little journal or whatever because of, just reasons. And she would always feel depressed on a Friday. And she went back and looked at her old journal and would see that on every Friday, she would always feel bad. So years pass. Boom. Skip all that. Time skip. We go back to research that house because we were just talking about it in a group chat. I wonder what happened to the Maryland house. What happened to the High Point house? This and that. There was a family that lived there where a girl got killed by her boyfriend on a Friday. And guess what they look like?
They're Asian in the bathroom.
Asian in the bathroom by themselves.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah.
No.
And we found that out years later.
Ow.
So either she was making up a
Wow.
story and
Game
got
over.
real lucky, or she saw that like every other night.
Wow.
Wow.
That's the crazy
And
thing.
here's the thing. I consider myself the biggest skeptic out of this group that's on here right now. So even hearing that story, I'm like, there's no way. But I trust her so much.
Right.
I know nobody here knows her. Nobody in the chat knows her, but she just wouldn't lie about that.
Right.
So it's just a real creepy story to me. I prefer smaller stories. Like, I'll believe you more if you say a book fell over than if you say I saw a woman running at me in the hall. But that's a real thing that happened. And that follows my entire family. I mean, to us, paranormal is just normal. We've had it our whole lives.
And that's my favorite. That's pretty much.
I mean, that was
Nothing
years after the
normal
house
about
burned
that.
down. So, I mean,
I'm like, I'm sorry you're such a weenie, Bronner. You
I'm
kinda
gonna be like, babe,
carried into it.
I've got to pee. Can you go check the bathroom for some Asians?
He kicked him out. I need a little privacy.
I mean, come on. I'd be like, oh, okay, no, I don't want that.
and that's one of the more tame stories.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Good.
more stories to be
There's
had.
more. There's more.
Yep.
Tell me more. Tell me more. I was tracing it. Okay, I was tracing it.
Well, the good news is that this is such a hot topic for a lot of people that ConCarolinas television is going to be doing a lot more paranormal episodes, and we're going to have a lot more, in depth. 100%. This is kind of like an introduction to it. We're going to deep dive this. I mean,
I would love to.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it, and very nervous, quite
I'll hold your
frankly.
hand. I'll protect you.
I don't know. I mean, unless you have like a cross and a broadsword.
We need an old priest and a young priest.
I have
I'll tell you what,
those things. So yeah.
If we go on a ghost hunt together here, Bronner, I'll wear the cat maid outfit for you.
Okay,
There you go. I know how much you like that.
They make
There
me
you go.
happy.
That'll make you give you the happy thoughts there.
Well,
I think I need everybody.
Dale, you can do a live stream.
There you go.
Yeah. What'd she say?
Live
If you
stream.
come, if you come to the Rosedale investigation, you can do a live stream.
Yes, I like the way you think. And we've been talking about doing that a lot more. Just off the cuff kind of stuff. Like if we're just going to go to a cemetery, or we're just going to do this, we're going to do that, just to have like raw footage around so that when we need it, it's there. And if we find something like this little video clip thing.
So yeah, CCTV has a lot of good things in store. A lot of changes coming up. So make sure you guys stay tuned. But I think what I want to know from all of you guys is, what is your most impactful experience? What is the one experience that has made either negative, positive, emotional, the biggest impact for you?
Well, I have a story that I always tell, and certainly as paranormal investigators, we're always asked, what's the scariest thing you've ever seen? And I can tell you, there was one year, this was a few years ago, where I went as a guest with another team in Virginia to Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Louisville. Yeah, if you've all heard of Waverly Hills, it was an old tuberculosis hospital. It had been a mental asylum. It had been a geriatric hospital. There was a lot of death there. There was a lot of suicide there. It was, there's a lot of activity there. And I can tell you that the hotel we were staying at next to it that weekend was also hosting a Toddlers and Tiaras convention. And I think I can safely say that that is the scariest thing that I have ever seen. But we did have some experiences at Waverly Hills. If you've seen Ghost Hunters, they've been there a few times. There's a lot of activity there. We got a really weird wail while we were there. There's a creature there that's apparently like a black blob. I saw that personally. And other people have experienced a lot of things at Waverly Hills. So I think certainly Waverly Hills is one of the most impactful places I've ever visited.
That's
Weird.
what I hear a lot
I don't
from
wanna
the
go
people
there.
that have been there. We hear a lot.
Yeah.
All right, Bear. What has impacted you?
I don't know if it was necessarily like the most impactful, but it was the most powerful moment I had that was like that. It was right after my mom passed away. Like hours later, um, I went into automatic, let's just get stuff done mode, and I was on the phone with people trying to get stuff done and just coping the best I could. And all of a sudden in the room, I felt arms just wrap around me and just that warmth spread all over me, and it was very calming. And I know it was my mom who was kind of giving that goodbye, but that was the most powerful moment that I had,
Mhm.
was something like that. And
That's got to be a good feeling. I want those kind of
That's,
feelings.
that's the good stuff.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
It is.
yeah.
So before we get Mark, Bronner's I know what it is.
What?
Um,
Oh, what about this?
so I'll fix it. Before we do, those of you that have headphones, grab them because we have a video sound clip that we're going to play for you guys so that you guys kind of, what you can hear. But we're going to.
Yeah, hold on a second.
Fix
She's
some
gonna
technical-
fix
technical
the
stuff.
technical difficulty here. I'm gonna go ahead and tell my little story. Okay, so when I was a kid, there were some books. They cascaded off a shelf, and that was the most terrifying time of my life. Both good and bad, and it's the same story.
It's the most. Oh, so none of our stories are impactful?
No, they're impactful, but this is books cascading.
No, let's go away.
The
You know,
cascade
I've been
of the
told
books.
that the D&D books are gateway for the devil. You were just inviting them in to mess with you there, Bronner. You were asking for it.
Yeah,
You weren't playing D&D. You were playing with a Ouija board. I
yeah.
know.
You know, the funny part is like books like Free to Be You and Me and, Gideon's Bible. Those are the books that were cascading.
Oh,
Summoning the Tarrasque.
so it was an angel going, Satan be gone. You
Right.
need
I
to
know.
you need to
Right.
cleanse yourself.
They're trying to save you. All right.
They
All right.
were.
What's your most impactful?
All right, so my most impactful is probably the one I told earlier about the house burning down and all of us being saved by fire by a
The
woman
skull
who didn't actually
fire.
live there. But another one I have, and the last one I wanted to tell, so I'm glad I get to. So this is when I was about 15, and I'm 57 now. No, but it was a couple years ago. And so, like I said before, I'll say it again to the chat. There's 4 of us boys. So I won't use real names because I didn't get their permission. I don't want my brothers to beat me up. But let's just say I'm walking down the stairs. There's a top floor, a middle floor, and a basement. I'm going down from the top floor to the middle floor, and I cross my brother, Chris. I came up with that name pretty fast, didn't I? Okay. I crossed my brother, Chris, and he looks very sad. So, I walk by him. My mom's in the kitchen. I say, hey, what's wrong with Chris? Did you say something to him? Did he get in trouble? And she said, what are you talking about? I said, he just looks a little down in the dumps. And she said, your brother hasn't come by here. And I said, all right. So I go down to the basement because that's where the video games are. And that's where a few of us slept. And my brother is down there with a couple cousins playing video games. And I said, I just saw you. But we just keep playing and hanging out. So here's the thing about that is that I always think I passed by him on a staircase. If that was not my brother, what would have happened if I would have followed him upstairs? If I would have reached out to talk to him and ask what was wrong?
Yeah.
If we would have touched each other, what would have happened? Because apparently that was not my brother.
Huh.
So if I had just followed him, what would have happened?
My question is, who the hell was it?
Exactly. So that's the one that
Right?
impacts me because it's
Ooh.
that what if.
It gets that mind thinking.
It gives me goosebumps the most
Mhm.
because I'm like, what if I say, hey, what's wrong? And then it like turns and smirks at me, Bronner. And it reaches out and grabs my shoulder. What happens then?
Like,
No, I'm running, bro. Shotgun.
But no, that really happened. I've always wondered what would happen.
salt, honey, salt.
Dang.
Because apparently it's not my brother, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
So I have two.
Gotta
First
hurry.
one is very similar. Where my father passed when I was 15, 16, 15. I don't even know how old I am right now, but oh, that's my big baby dog. It's not a ghost. It's
It's not a ghost.
It's
It's a
a dog.
dog.
Dog's howling. But within so the next day, what is that?
Does everyone hear that?
Everybody hears that?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Chat hears that too. Yeah.
It's coming from us? No. Like,
Okay. Anyway.
okay. I don't even know if I want to continue now. Where I got outshadowed by my audio. But so really everything was just a blur after that. Like you said, everything's getting together. I was at my aunt's because that's where he was when he passed. And we were driving in the car a couple days later to pick up his ashes. The very first song that comes on the radio was Dust in the Wind by Kansas. Music was something very big for us in our family. Very, it's how we talk to each other. And so music has always kind of followed me if I've been, oh, pretty kitty. If I'm not feeling good, if I'm in a moment, there's always an impactful song that comes on. But that song, that moment, and just the feeling that I had in the car just felt very serene, very calm. It was the most calm I'd been in a couple days. So yeah, that was pretty heavy for me. So the second one that I have is the one that we're going to share with the chat. So chat, I did. It's not.
I don't
Here,
know what
hold
it
on.
is.
Let's try this.
You're gonna mute.
I just wanted you guys to see if it works. Because he says it's coming from us. Producer says it's us. I swear it's not. Okay. Well, shoot.
It's just it's a thing because I'm looking at both of their computers and they're muted. So.
Yeah. So the second one is the one I said, get your headphones. I was outside.
Are we allowed to talk about this?
I don't even
Yeah,
know.
what is that?
Who's recording?
Let's see what we've caught.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
No, I'm okay.
You're right.
Yeah,
Mark's
yeah.
like, no,
I'm gonna send the file to you, Cher, okay?
I need better audio. So break it down, slice it apart. All right, so I'm gonna try and do this quickly. Hopefully. So we were outside on the deck, North Carolina storm. You guys know how those are. They blow in hot and heavy. There's thunder, there's lightning, there's wind. But apparently
That's somebody.
that's
I mean, I'm sitting, my phone's on Do Not Disturb.
So is mine.
so it's bad.
Okay, anyway, go.
So we're gonna do this quickly. This is getting creepy now. It's awesome. But I'm recording it from my mom because my mom's back in California and it doesn't rain in California. Ever. So I always send her video footage of the storms. And so I recorded a couple clips. We finish, cigarette, go back inside, get ready for bed. And I'm watching them back so that I can send her the best clip. And we caught something. I don't know what it is, but we're gonna play the video the first time for you guys in the chat, just so you can listen to it, with no bias, and then we'll discuss it for
Really
a second,
short. It's like 12 seconds long, so listen intently.
and then we'll discuss it and let you guys listen to it again.
Producer Sean, I'm gonna mute us so that weird
There's no
stuff
feedback
doesn't
in
come
the middle.
across. Is that cool? All right, thanks. I'm muting now. Oh, touch portal.
Oh no!
We can salvage this. Fine. It's all fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
not yet.
Don't play
We're
it
not
again.
playing it a second time yet.
Did anyone catch anything in the chat?
So in the chat, I think Bates is with us. But anyway, for those of you listening, Bates says, "Hold the effing phone." Effing.
She said
So
fucking.
I'm not gonna lie.
She did say.
I muted myself here and I went to the chat to listen to the audio there.
Mm-mm.
I didn't hear it on the audio.
You didn't hear it on the audio.
I didn't hear it on the audio.
I definitely
I don't
heard
know
it
if it
on
was
my
me.
phone just now.
Like I was you did?
Yeah, I went back and heard right before we started recording. I went to listen to it again, and it was there.
Yeah, so I heard it on the audio on the video when she sent it to me. I heard it. I heard it all. I did not hear it just now though on the podcast.
Did anybody in the chat hear it?
I don't know. Bates, did you hear it?
So we
I
might
can't
need to
volume
play
up
it
that.
again. Just
Yeah,
Okay.
let's play it one more time.
So what we'll do is we'll play it one more time. But when playing this video, I would say about 10 seconds in, I think if director Sean, amazing director Sean, is playing the whole clip. So 10 seconds in, there's a very light help us. And immediately following that, it's very forceful, help us. You can hear like small whistles in the background, kind of very weird. But those whispers were really like heavy. So go ahead and play it, Sean.
Did that person just count down like to 7?
I don't know. We'll listen to it again.
okay, so I'm not the only one that heard that.
No, I heard it.
I heard that too.
All right. So Sean, go ahead and play the video. We're gonna silence ourselves. Okay.
All right. So that was it.
Did you hear it that time, Bear?
We did hear it that
Okay.
time.
Oh, Bates says, "Oh F no, earbuds are out. I'm done with you guys."
So,
Mission accomplished.
I do want to preface this with, I've got 6 different videos of that night. It wasn't something, like we're not putting it together, whatever. It was creepy as hell.
It was creepy.
It was creepy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. That's probably the closest I've got to investigating. It was by accident.
which makes us want to investigate. So hey.
Well, I will
April,
say that's usually when we get our best stuff is when we're not looking for it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep.
April just heard the whispers. For anybody that wants to actually hear the clip itself, if you want to hear it,
We can send it to you.
We can send it to you. Just
For
reach
sure.
out to either Bron or I. on Facebook, and we can send it. No problem. I don't have a problem with that. I know it's a little difficult to do in a podcast setting, but it was creepy. Not gonna lie.
A little experiment for everybody at home. If you want to be your own hunter, just take a camera and just have it shoot down your hallway while you go to sleep, and then wake up and look at it and see how spooky your house is, and then try to go to sleep again.
And they try to Bronner will not be doing that.
Yeah, no, I don't have a hall.
Yeah, I don't have recorders or anything running in my own house. I don't want my work coming home with me. So,
Right. Amen.
Rather
Amen.
not know. Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and are we raiding into another show, or it's time to wrap up? I'm sure. 8:39.
All right.
All right,
so
we're gonna
wrapping up.
raid into what's his name?
No.
Nev.
I know.
Zarknor.
How do you pronounce that? Zarknor.
Zarknor. Yes.
I know Nev. It's one syllable. I can handle that. I meant Zarknor. We're going to raid into Zarknor, but I'd just like to thank everyone, especially our fine panel today. Was amazingly creepy, and I appreciated all of the food for my nightmares that you gave me. It was wonderful.
Glad we could help.
Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
You guys were all very, very good and very,
Yes.
very entertaining, and I would love to have you back again. And
Anytime.
are you going through the schedule, or
I don't
We're
have
good.
it up with me.
okay?
Just
But
make
there
sure.
is a charity stream
Next weekend.
next weekend.
Mhm.
12 hours.
12 hours for charity, and it's going to
The Pride Association.
the Youth Pride Association.
Mhm.
Is it
Mhm.
YPA, right?
Yes. So
Yes.
make sure you guys tune
Youth
into
Pride
that.
Association. So tune into that. It's on the Twitch TV at the Don Darrow. And I don't know if Hope's channel is going to be carrying it or
Everybody
carrying
part
it.
of it.
Yeah, I think it'll be on across all of our streaming service platform kind of things. So, but in any case, I appreciate everyone joining us in the chat. Thank you guys, were awesome. And thank every one of our panel for being here. And also thank you to Sean for producing a wonderful show as always. He doesn't get enough credit. So
You
we
did
thank
fantastic.
Yeah. And
I'm Ray.
and for ConCarolinas Television, we'd like to wish you a good night and peace and love.
Good luck sleeping.
Yeah.